Hello and welcome to kind of return episode food hand hobbying. I took the last 2 weeks off because my mom was in town. I'm sure all of the no people watching this care. And today we're building a truck. Woo-hoo. Trucks are fun. Um, it's kind of weird the way uh, temp ed kind of encourages building, or list building at least, because I find myself building trucks to fit like mega knobs or knobs instead of boys, which since it's kind of a less prestigious vehicle, you'd think it would be more for boys than otherwise. This is gonna be my first vehicle for this channel. I do not expect it to go well. Um, this is actually my first vehicle too that doesn't have labeled sprues, so each individual piece is not labeled. So that's going to be a nice little nifty challenge, but I believe in me. There's not that many pieces anyways, so like all great men, I'm going to say, how hard could it be? Oh yeah, the Death Dread is a vehicle. Good call. So I guess this is not my first vehicle. My second vehicle. I'm just gonna pop it off the sprues first. You do that sort of thing. So with the with orcs being orcs, this thing has a firing deck of 12, I believe, is the rule. I'll have to check on my phone to confirm that. But as firing deck 12, or you could have it a hardtop, but like with things being RAT 5, not giving it a hardtop feels like a mistake. I have to check. Maybe you can like shove some flamers in here, and then you can get a lot of good work out of that firing deck. But I do not recall. This week was the 4th of July, and I did nothing for it. Burner Boys. Yeah, that's right. Can Burner Boys fit in trucks, or does it specify? It might just specify infantry. But that Gazgul takes up 22 spots or whatever. Although, I think for some vehicles that say they can take infantry, they don't actually specify um, the total size for all of them. So for some of them, Gazgul can fit inside them, and he fits as one spot. Rules is written instead of 20 or 17, I believe, is what he costs everywhere else. Which I mostly just think is pretty funny oversight. This is actually my last orc model to build. I don't know when I'm going to be able to prime. It is like 90% humidity here. So priming is just like not going to happen until it dries out a little bit. It's absolutely brutal. Yeah, 12 burner boys then would actually, you probably want 10 burner boys and then whoever the unit leader is for the burner boys. I have to look at that. I don't know who it is. I think they have a character. I don't recall though. I'm gonna do a little bit of pyrotechnics. So you can use that to clean your needle. Be careful when you do that, though. It does get the needle quite hot. But it does kick the glue that is frozen inside there out. It's a matchbook. Get it? A little bit of glue on there. We're just gonna let that cure and start working on the other bit of the chassis. I'll get the axles out. Anytime you're kind of building one of these, I think this must be an older sprue because it doesn't have the numbers on it. I guess you just got to be really careful. I'm kind of freaked out by this. As anyone who's a long time watcher, which I think is just Don at this point, can attest, I am fairly new at this. Still just kind of figuring it out. Looks like this is this piece. I mean, I'm glad it's not a like a Space Marine. Oof. A Space Marine without things labeled would be impossible. Trying to figure out which head goes with which body, and or not which head, which bodies go with which other half of it, which arm is which. And each one fits into the configuration. That'd be quite difficult. Not a fan. Not a fan of those being unlabeled. So. I think I'm just gonna leave this using friction to hold in instead of trying to glue it. I feel like if I glue it, it might just kind of lock it into place a little too much. And we'll have a hard time dealing with it. This one might get a full pin though. How's this supposed to go together? These are the back wheels. I guess it sits on here like this. Yeah, that's definitely getting pinned in. I was locking like that apparently. So you get this kind of flat come in. And it doesn't need to get glued too. Give that a second to cure. And when that happens, I'm just going to look up the rules on burner boys and see what, if anything, can connect to them or attach to them. Lead them, I suppose is the correct term. This was the big Eldar nerf week, which I know a lot of people were really clamoring for. I saw some people saying it didn't go far enough, which I was kind of surprised by. I thought it was. I was shocked at how many points it went up. I was also shocked at how little points it was. Looks like they can get a Big Mac and go on Burner Boys, which is cute, I guess. Burner Boys do come in a unit of 10 though, which is weird. Oh, looks like they can also get a Grot skin on them and a Pain Boy, which are both they're fine. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's neat. Yeah, Big Mac with a KFF can go on the Burner Boys, which is that's kind of cool then. I think that's this piece, although it doesn't look like it on the actual thing. Oof. Okay, well, we're gonna do our best. Worst case scenario, I have to take some stuff apart. That's okay. That's a-okay. This looks like the only bit that could be another axle. There is supposed to be another axle here. That's upside down. This maybe? It's just this random rod hanging off the bottom of it. The front of this thing. Nope. That does not help. Okay, well, let's just get this first axle attached, and we'll see what we can come up with in a bit. Come on. Thank you. About a second to cure. Position it so that it better follows the rules, or not the rules, the building instructions. Follow the instructions, folks. Instructions are good. That's what separates us from the robots, the animal robots. Fudge. Great success so far with this one. Right. Okay. Yeah, we got that going. Heck yeah. Crushing it, nailing it. Can't stop it. I'm just going to take a look at the instructions here. I think this goes in like so. These kind of like flattened out parts on the edge that can kind of sit level like that. This is what we're going with. Again, if it doesn't work, well, then I'll just kind of have to, break it, fix it. This one is certainly more tricky than I thought it was going to be. Now I got to figure out the wheel situation. Oy. So it looks like the front wheels. Yeah, the truck is harder than the boys. That is for sure. Looks like the front wheels are going to be smaller and the back wheels are going to be bigger. The problem is this comes with 8 wheels, and you're supposed to have 6 on here. So that's neat. You can kind of choose like your wheel design, I guess. Yeah, extra wheels, which is normally something to be excited about. But in this situation, I'm just like, hey, what am I going to do with these? So let's just start here and start getting some wheels put together. How do you feel about the changes from this week, Don? Oh yeah, I suppose today would be. Yeah, I made it a lot lighter. That's kind of what I was curious about because you lost 2 models in that 14 model list, or was it less than that? I feel like these are supposed to go together somehow. I'm not entirely sure how. If they go on. No, they have like these ridges. Yeah, I mean, I think Eldari were a bigger problem, but I mean, I haven't played a real game of Tenth yet. I just have played solitaire and stuff. I don't know why I'm so gun shy about joining a new community, but I am. I had no problem when I moved to Madison though. Let's see if we can figure this crap out. So it's kind of got these sort of, I don't know if you can see it, my camera doesn't focus super well, sort of like ridges. Yeah, I should just get out tonight and try it. Maybe once I have the work list at least done, I'll do that. My orc list does it currently say, oh, son of. Okay, that's cool. Apparently I just didn't have it lined up quite right. I eventually got lucky. So I'm going to apply glue just in time for me to not remember how to put this together. And then it's going to be stuck again. So that'll be great. Looking forward to it. Hey, second try. Still got it there. That's what counts. My current list is skip. It's apparently got to reload the database. There we go. Battle Forge. Oh, I need to get a beast boss on this Quigosaur for it because I just want something that's really hard to kill in there because that thing looks sweet. So we got a wheel. One wheel down, baby. Yeah. What? Wheels. Let's get the next tiny wheel out. Honestly, so far my big problem with the works is that I wanted to have like field allowance of everything. I think everything is just like so cool and so neat and so janky and weird. You know, like the uh the warp boy, weird boy. Yeah, weird boy. And like his kind of like pseudo Grey Knight teleport thing. That's just cool. And then you have uh strat that lets you charge an extra 2 inches out of it. So you can just like warp something across the world and then like have not like the greatest odds of charging, like a pretty good odds of charging, like making it in. And like they're orcs, they hit pretty hard most of the time. Most of the time. Like, I need to look at their strats again, but I think they have one that lets you crit on 4s and 5s, which when you combine that with the sustain 1 on literally every melee weapon, that's pretty good. It's not, Fate dice good, but it's good. Although now that Fate dice are limited, maybe it's less good. Yeah, Unbridled Carnage. Until the end of the phase, each time an orc model in your unit attacks, makes a melee attack, an unmodified hit roll of 5 up scores a critical. So that's pretty good. And most of your models are going to be hitting on 2s or 3s. If you have the war boss in your list, everything gets +1 to hit. That's in his unit. So, you're effectively hitting on 2 for most of your stuff, and then you have sustained hit 1. So I don't know quite how the math for that works out, but I think it equals out to be roughly 100% hit rate, because six one out of every 6 outcomes is a miss, and 1 out of every 6 outcomes is a second hit. So it should even out to about the same, right? I'm not a mathematician, but I think if you take those kind of batches together and you increase that by 1, that's pretty good. And you get stuff like the claws and the heavier hit and stuff. That's pretty sweet. First big tire zone. I'm actually going to build all of the tires. Oh, no, wait, there are the right number of tires. I'm so bad at math. How do you people stand me? Boop, 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 boop. So that's pretty good. I haven't seen. I'll need to do another look at the codex or the index, whatever you want to call it, for them. But I haven't seen I haven't seen much dead wound in orcs, which I am totally fine with. I am not playing orcs because I think they're going to be strong competitively. I kind of hope they're not, to be honest. I don't want them to be LOL, why did you bring this bad? But I'd rather have something that was kind of middling to a little bit below average. Because I just think that's a little bit. There's more room to play, more room to be weird. Which of these tires go together? Guessing these 2 and these 2 and then these 2. I think these are all matches. It's very confusing. Not sure. I have on previous episodes praised GW for their sprue design and how they get everything kind of in a really logical flow towards building things. Apparently, that is a relatively new development. Yeah, I kind of figured it was older because of the lack of the kind of numbering on the sprue, which I have found to be this absolutely invaluable assistance when building things. I feel like 40K hobbying probably has some kind of Dark Souls style hobby fans who are now that they've numbered it, it's not nearly as hard as it used to be, so it doesn't have quite as much fulfillment for me. And it's just whatever. I do hate it when they put the bit that connects from the piece to the sprue in between 2 nubs. So it's really hard to get that sucker out of there. You have to be super precise. Otherwise you'll damage everything else around it. Which is why I kind of just did it really quick and didn't pay attention to what I was doing. I do have a file. Haha, see the file? I mean, I think what you mean, I need a bigger file or a smaller file, a different file. Long story short. Huh. Yeah, this sucker. Okay. Can you do me a favor, Don? Can you repudiate Rob for texting while driving? Don't text and drive, folks. Keep two hands on the wheel. I spent a week with my mom, so I'm gonna turn into her. No. Okay. Come on. I feel like I'm gonna absolutely uncork this thing every time it clogs up. Oh fuck. Well, you know what? I already put this thing as not child friendly. So yeah, we got swears now, folks. He was texting in the general thread saying he didn't see it, didn't know there was an issue with the Leviathan box. He said he was at a stoplight when he read it. I'm naming and shaming folks today. Moms against texting while driving. Last of the wheels to come together. I'm going to do a dry fit on them. So one thing I want to check for burner boys is just how they're pointed out. Oh, also for some reason the Mork knot got a random nerf from the towering thing. I don't think that thing was a concern, guys. Burner Boys. Oh, that's weird. They have a thing called a spanner. Huh. So you could have 8 Burner Boys, 2 spanners, and either a Pain Boy or a KFF in a truck going around. That's kind of cool. That's a spanner. They can have a custom Mega Blaster, a big shooter, or a rocket launcher. I mean, the custom Mega Blaster is cute. I don't know. Yeah, I think you'd take the custom Mega Blaster and then just hope you don't roll a 1 on the hazardous. This big front barrel. Boom. There is a little truck buggy. Just the chassis all set and complete. You can kind of wind it up and roll it. Come on, little droplet. Yay. I'd have to check that. That would kind of suck if part of the model, like one of the models for the unit, didn't come in the unit. Rerolling a 1's pretty cool. Oh, you can reroll the whole wound if it's within range of an objective marker. That's pretty sweet. Oh, the loot box also makes the burnos? Okay, never mind. That's less weird. All right, there we go. Little chassis. We're gonna let that cure. I'm gonna take a look at what's going on next for the instructions. See if there's anything I need to be aware of or anything like that, since I'm doing a bit of a custom job. This does not appear to have a hard case. Is that new? Oh, the cab. So you can kind of have the cab here. Trucks are weird. Just a truck. I don't want a squid truck, whatever thing. Just a truck. Okay. I'm going to add the Wrecking Ball on there because there's no reason not to. Although it is depressingly only got one attack, but that one attack hits like a freight. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I'm thinking what I'm going to do for that then is cut up a bunch of sprues and like kind of line them up and then like glue them together and then like, scratch it up, rough it up, so it kind of files over into one thing and then like really gouge into it in a couple of places for bullet holes and the like. I think it'll look nice. Or it'll look terrible, but it'll be mine. And isn't that what this is all about? What's Plasticard? Okay. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Isn't there like I remember with privateer press, there was a rule that like a certain percentage of the model had to be a privateer press um, plastic. So you were kind of limited on your modding. Although I guess like okay, I was gonna say if that is a thing with 40K, I was told that there was a GT where there was more of a certain kind of like Forge World tank being played than were ever made by Forge World. So, things are kind of fast and loose. Yeah, I kind of figured they wouldn't be big fans of people pirating their main source of income. So I remember being told this in like 2000. I want to say like 2012, 2013, that GW would say that they're a model company. They are not a games company. I don't know the validity of that, but I can kind of feel it with like that sort of presence when it comes to like what rules are versus what's conversion, what's not conversion versus private ship press. And I'm not saying either way is better than the other or anything like that. Well, I don't know the answer for one, but it's just kind of a fascinating dichotomy. I certainly like the hobbying part of this a lot more than I did for Privateer. I don't know if I've changed or if it's just how the game focuses. I'm wondering if it is how much just you have a chance in a way of sort of flavoring the army to what you want, like in terms of visual style. There are some things that I miss from Privateer. I do miss sort of how you could pick a warcaster and sort of define the army around that warcaster. Now that would allow for a lot of different builds. I'm sure you can do that too, but it feels not as broad as it was before, or as it was with Privateer Press. I miss 2D terrain a lot. I also hate true line of sight, so I will say 3D terrain does look better, but it does look a lot better. I like 2D terrain a lot because I am not exactly the most dexterous person in the world, so having less things for me to bump into and knock over was nice. I do say this is someone who really wants to play an army with almost 200 models. So actually, does that list get over 200 models? Let's check. Just gonna hold this piece into position for a little bit. The actual list that I would want to bring to a tournament, I almost brought this up earlier. It is Beast Boss on Squigosaur, Big Mech in Mega Armor, 2 Pain Boys, 3 War Bosses, 2 full units of boys. Boss Knob will have the Power Claw because the Power Claw is just cooler. Don't blame me. I'm not, I call them like I see them. 2 trucks, 2 battle wagons, unit of 5 Mega Knobs. That's where the Big Mech will go, of course. And then I have a unit of mech guns in here because I just had 90 points left over, and I don't know what else to do with them. But I suppose I have 100 points left over, and then I also have a unit of knobs. So I'm sure I could find something to do with that 90 points that's better served than the mech guns. Oh wow, I am not smart. The battle wagon is the one that has the hard case, not the truck. So I was just completely talking about the wrong thing. Womp womp indeed. I mean, really, the way I look at it, just with what I one don't know if I should have models foot slogging versus everyone, because right now I have this list built so that everyone who isn't on a uh, everyone who isn't on a vehicle is also, or is at least on a, like, a squid hog or something. Oh, that's what I'm missing. I am 10 points. If I can find a place to free up 10 points, which I really can't, to be fair, I could get a unit of squid hog boys in here. That would be cool. Just a little bit more maneuverability, something that can kind of hold objectives. Okay, well, back to the drawing board with that plan. I want this thing, I think. Yep, this thing. I gotta find out where this thing goes. There's a little dimple there for it. Just let that cure. So my neck's really starting to hurt from craning. This is a pretty good place to call it for the night, I think. Just got the engine block finished. So I'm going to call it. Leave a like, subscribe. Thank you very much for coming and checking it out. Have a good night, guys.